That was so cool.
Yeah, I love that song.
I was not expecting it to be 7 minutes long, but it
it doesn't feel like it though, in my opinion.
No, it does everything that it needs to like keep those 7 minutes engaging. Because I feel like that can be the issue with some like really long songs, is it's not engaging the entire time.
Let's go already, yeah.
Yeah, but like this one kept me interested the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want the song to end. I love that song. One of the things I like about it is, I don't know if you notice, but every once in a while the drums get kind of behind the beat a little bit, and then they speed back up a little bit to like get back in time. And I just think that that's such a small thing that I don't think that they did on purpose, but it just makes it feel a lot more like I'm there, I'm watching it live, like I'm in the room kind of deal.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I get
they
that.
probably used a click, but I don't know. I don't like the theme of having every single thing be in time to a T, because I think it sounds at that point you might as well just program everything, like, you know what I mean, like why even play it?
No, I agree. I think that there's a human element to being slightly off time, and this isn't to say like completely off beat.
Oh,
but,
no, he wasn't.
You
no.
know, there's just there's a pocket is human rhythm, because humans don't feel rhythm perfectly on the grid.
Right.
It's not necessarily a swing the entire time, but whether you're like laid back or you're ahead of the beat or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is something that, as a producer working with bands on occasion, can be kind of difficult to get across to people who aren't used to playing to a click, is that yes, you want it to feel human, but also playing to a click is going to make things easier to edit and going to make things easier to overdub and re-record and things like that. And people who are good at playing to a click can listen to a click and specifically play behind it or ahead of it or whatever to get kind of that sound that they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, being in marching band and indoor percussion for 4 years, that's all I hear. Still, to this day. Every once in a while, I'll just hear the metronome out in the field. It sucks. I hate it. But, that's helped me a lot in terms of keeping time and just noticing when other things are out of time, which is kind of not always fun.
I was going to say that sounds more like a curse than a blessing.
Yeah, because it becomes like like me and my wife will watch America's Got Talent, and every time a drum act comes on, I'm like, here we go. Because they're always bad. They're always dirty. They're never in time. And the judges are always like, that was incredible. I'm like, dude, I'm about to go on here and make me $1 million. Because if I can just play out of time and it's cool.
I have issues with those talent game show things, because I feel like they take the thing that's the biggest spectacle, whether the talent is actually like good or not. Like, one of the biggest things that pisses me off, and somebody does it inevitably every season of a singing show, or it'll happen more than once, which is that they'll take a perfectly fine, simple song and then over-sing the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And it's like the
national anthem.
It happens with the national anthem all the time, and it really annoys me. Or you'll have somebody singing like Hallelujah, right? And they'll like sing all over it. It's like, that is supposed to be a simple song.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it simple. That's the thing that's good about it, is that it's so simple.
I feel like a lot of that has to do
not
with...
to go on a rant, but
Well, I feel like a lot of that has to do with let's see, what's that band? Or not a band, but the acapella group.
Pentatonics?
Yeah. I feel like it's their fault. Not just their fault. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people
Pentatonics, you've made an enemy for life.
Well, I feel like a lot of people want to make the vocals the main instrument, and it never really has been. To me, at least. I mean, I guess it is like the front of the song, but it's there to carry the song, not to crush the song.
And melody is important, and when you add too many runs and flourishes and things like that, it takes away from the melody, and you're no longer serving the song.
Yeah,
serving the song is the most important part of being a musician, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I think of like Brendan Urie, who can do all that shit, Mm-hmm. But Panic at the Disco songs are they're not, crazy in terms of range.
They weren't.
That's true. Well, I'm not talking about... I'm talking about Panic at the Disco, not Brendan Urie, okay?
Yeah, that's
I'm talking
fair.
about when
New Panic at the Disco is just Brendan Urie. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, Well, what I was going to say as far as like serving the song is I feel like a lot of people in the guitar world kind of like to, especially in like the advanced world, like to kind of shit on Slash a little bit, that he's like, oh, too generic of a guitarist or whatever. But like I have a respect for him that came from listening to his solo project that he did with a guest vocalist on every single song, because he
like
suited the song to that vocalist's range,
Yeah.
or to like the type of music that they typically do, and perfectly fell into the role of any genre or style that they were doing. And while he's not super technical or flashy, he serves the song.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what's important.
Exactly.
Because you can be as flashy as you want, but if it doesn't serve the song, then it's not going to be a good song.
I
think
100% agree.
drummers have the same problem too. I think more so drummers have that problem where they want to fill and they want to put shit there. But sometimes a simple rock beat is all you need.
Yeah.
And that's what will serve the song well. And I mean, I have problems with it. I know all drummers have problems with it in terms of like, well, I could do this crazy cool groove fill, and you're like, but why? You know, it doesn't have anything to do with it. And you're like, well, fine, I'll just stick to the 1, 3, and 4, or 2 and 4.
I feel like punk drummers often have like a really good grasp on serving the song more than a lot of other genres of drummer, because I don't know particularly why, but it feels like a lot of times punk drummers can kind of play in other styles and fit them very well, but it doesn't necessarily go the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean,
I think maybe it's just because punk is generally like a more simplistic style.
yeah, and I mean, when you think of like a punk, like
Yeah.
you know, like that's the punk drum part for a lot of songs. And then if you go to like, well, what's the country equivalent? There's not a country equivalent really. What's the jazz equivalent? There's not really a jazz equivalent of like, I mean, I think just a normal rock beat is like kind of normal for everything else, whereas punk it's like that your
AC/DC beat. Yeah.
Yeah, and with punk music it's different, but in this vein it's a lot of the same, which is good, and I think that means that punk drummers know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I think that again it all comes back to serving the song.
Yeah, 100%.
I really liked in this song that it went in more of that like indie direction, but I feel like it hit on like kind of a few different styles of like indie rock along the way. You had the more like kind of crunchy part, and then you had the more like open kind of like chorusy delay type of part.
That reverb, I feel like I know exactly what he's using for the reverb because I've used it. It's chroma verb void. That's what it is. I swear. But yeah, I mean,
because you care to comment.
Yeah, for real. I'm not giving away my secrets. No, there's sometimes in songs where I'll hear like a sound and I'm like, that's a Logic sound. I've heard that.
I was just having this conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and I forget which reality show it was, but they were like, yeah, I was watching this reality show just for the hell of it, and I realized that the entire soundtrack of this show is just Apple loops. That's all it is.
You're like, wait a minute. It sounds like something I've heard before.
And I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, because you have that like in the very not the very beginning, but the bigger guitar part that comes in, like I can't think of the riff, but it has that like I can't think of this other song that I'm trying to think of that has that similar riff. That song. Nirvana. It Smells Like Teen Spirit. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, and then it goes into like it flows very nicely. It's like waves, you know. It's like
for sure.
Here's a little loud. Here's a little soft. Here's a little loud.
I feel like that's why it doesn't overstay its welcome, because each of the sections are like small enough in themselves that you're able to move on to the next thing, you know?
Yeah, and it's not jarring, but it's a different enough change to where you're like, oh, where it kind of like resets, you know?
Yeah, no,
like your brain's
exactly.
like, oh.
There's something new to focus on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's got a lot of other good songs. Like American Spirits is another great song from him. That song, I almost played that one because it's a rough one. It's all
in terms
of
sound or in terms of like what it's about?
In terms of lyrics. Like it's all about how like he doesn't believe in God anymore and how it's like
real heavy lyrically. I also want to mention one more thing that I really enjoy, which is all of the names of the playlists on his like Discovered On are hilarious. You've
Drumming Bird?
Yeah.
All right, what are they?
You've got songs that sound like Carhartt overalls,
I think it's pretty good, yeah.
granola and iced coffee, crunchy granola mountain music. Like, all of these are so good.
And they're so accurate, too.
Sipping coffee when the fog is clearing on a cold camping morning. That's a very specific vibe, but I totally understand.
But it fits,
it's great.
I guarantee it, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, but this American Spirit song, this verse is, I was raised on a Jesus who was wide and prestigious, said he never would leave our little country behind, said the Pledge of Allegiance said I'd never smoke weed, and that my Bible I'd read it when I couldn't decide. But the sermons were telling me hell was a felony, and heaven's the guilty plea that keeps me alive. So my friend went and shot himself. Jesus, he asked for help, was probably somewhere else, said son, get in line.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
that is some heavy, deep shit. But it's also something that you can clearly tell, like, they've been thinking about this.
Yeah, and they've been
stewing
it too,
on it.
Because, like, in the way the song goes, it's like, he's just like, da-da-da-da-da. My friend went and shot himself. Like, he's just like, he asked for help, but, like, whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's, I almost played that one, but
I'm
like
definitely going to have to check out more of Drumming Bird as well, for sure.
Yeah, because he has this other song called Electric Cowboy that's, like, has, like, electronic music implemented into it, and it's really good too. Yeah, Electric Cowboy, it's sweet.
Again, going back to that, genre is dead. Everybody's just kind of doing whatever they feel like, and I am here for it.
Yeah, and like I never really listened to like electronic music. Like I don't particularly care for it very much. I never thought I'd be making it really. But I had, I used the tools that I had, and I like what I came up with.
Yeah, for sure. I think that this has been a really good episode, man. I'm very glad to have had you on.
Me too. I appreciate you.
Is there anything else that you want to specifically remind people about before we sign off?
Stream Goodbye All. Put it on some playlists. Follow me on Spotify as well. That helps. Don't forget about 5 EP and 5 B-sides, which I think I like 5 B-sides a little better. Which is actually funny. So 5, all of that was written in GarageBand, and then 5 B-sides was all written in Logic Pro for iPad. And I think you can kind of hear a little bit of the differences in terms of like,
You feel like you leveled up a little bit.
I feel like I leveled up, and I feel like I think Logic Pro just sounds better in general than GarageBand. I don't know what, but like mixes sound better to me. I don't know if it's just like a quality of like the plugins or what, but it sounds better, or I've gotten better at mixing. I don't know.
I think it's probably just that you've gotten better, because generally speaking, there have been tests saying that all DAWs sound the same. I don't know if iPad DAWs are different or whatever, but there's certainly more that you can do. So, and hopefully by the time this is out, you'll have another tune out, maybe?
I should, yeah.
So keep an eye out for that as well.
Yeah, also, fuck the IDF and Free Palestine.